Okay, so like who hasn't scrolled through Instagram, right, and wondered, what makes someone really attractive? Like beyond the filters and the picture perfect lives. Today we are ditching all that superficial stuff and doing a deep dive on the surprising signs of attractiveness.
Okay.
According to Reddit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this isn't about like chasing some standard of beauty.
Right.
We found this really popular AskReddit thread where people shared like their real life indicators of attractiveness.
I love that, getting into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
The real world.
Yeah, those subtle cues, those awkward encounters, even those interactions with like grandmas that make you go, is that a sign?
Interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so true, because those anecdotes, right, they reveal so much about the psychology of attraction, how we size each other up, how we judge, often unconsciously. It's fascinating.
That's what I love about it. So no superficial stuff here. This deep dive is all about understanding those deeper social dynamics. Like, how does attractiveness, or even the perception of it, affect how we behave, the opportunities we get, the way we're treated?
You took the words right out of my mouth. And, one of the most prevalent themes that we saw in this Reddit thread was this concept of the halo effect. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of this.
Okay. So it's basically this cognitive bias, right, where we tend to associate attractive people with other positive qualities.
Oh, like if someone's good looking, you assume they're also like smart or trustworthy.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like this automatic association. Our brain makes it. And what's really interesting is how often people associate attractiveness with competence. The Reddit thread was full of stories of people getting favors without even asking.
Oh, wow.
More smiles, friendly interactions, even leniency from authority figures. It's as if attractiveness, it's like this social lubricant that just eases those everyday interactions.
Yeah, that is really interesting. It makes you think about all those like subtle ways that attractiveness might be kind of shaping our experiences without us even realizing it.
100%. And it's not always sunshine and roses.
Right, of course.
There's this, the thread also revealed a bit of a darker side to this whole thing.
Yeah.
What some users described as pretty privilege.
Okay.
Or like living life on cheat mode.
Ooh, cheat mode. Okay, yeah, tell me more about that. What were people saying?
So one example that really stood out involved this user who grew up with a sister who was a runway model.
Okay.
And it's like, you can imagine, right? Two people, same background, same upbringing, but their lives unfold so differently based largely on how attractive they're perceived to be.
That's kind of fascinating and also kind of messed up, but keep going.
It is. So this runway model sister, she could get away with anything, bad behavior, skipping work, you name it. People would just overlook her flaws.
Wow.
Gave her endless chances. She landed jobs effortlessly, promotions, even, ended up with a wealthy partner.
Oh, wow.
It was as if the world just bent over backwards to accommodate her.
Wow, and that's so interesting. So, okay, what about the sister?
Right, so the sister, completely different story. She faced constant struggles.
Oh, no.
Job insecurity, financial hardship, very few second chances, and get this.
Okay.
The Redditor pointed out how the model sister, despite multiple traffic stops, genuinely believed cops only gave warnings because she had never gotten a ticket.
Gosh.
It's like, it just shows you how ingrained this halo effect can be, right?
Yeah.
That it can even color someone's perception of law enforcement.
That's crazy. And it really does make you think about how much of, our reality is shaped by these like unconscious biases and how much we're not even aware of.
Right. Absolutely.
So it seems like this halo effect, while it might, on the surface seem like whatever, actually has some pretty significant real world consequences.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it really does raise these important questions about fairness and privilege and the potential downsides of these unearned advantages.
It's almost like this halo effect thing can create like a distorted reality.
Oh, totally.
For both?
For everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thorny issue, lots of implications. But, the Reddit thread also offered kind of like a refreshing counterpoint to all this, like disheartening stuff.
Yeah.
Like a reminder that attractiveness, true attractiveness,
right,
goes way beyond just like the way you look on the outside.
Yes. I was really hoping we were going to get to that because, come on, looking like a runway model. might open some doors,
Sure.
but it's not exactly a
nice.
recipe for, like, deep connection, right?
No, absolutely not. And there's a reason why, like, you remember Kyle from the Reddit thread?
Oh, yeah.
Can be so captivating, even if they wouldn't, win any conventional beauty contests.
Right, Kyle, the guy who wasn't, like, considered traditionally attractive, but was, like, the most popular?
Yes.
What was it about him?
So picture this, right? Someone described as having a Neanderthal forehead, gap teeth.
Oh, no.
But they're like the life of the party.
Wow.
Adored by men and women alike.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Kyle was incredibly kind, smart, and had this infectious sense of humor.
Ah, that's great.
That just made you feel like you were the most interesting person in the room.
I love that. It's like that saying, personality is the key that unlocks hearts.
Yes, exactly. And people on the thread were saying, like, humor, kindness.
Right.
That ability to make other people feel good. So attractive, like,
Yeah.
regardless of what you look like.
Totally. And it's about how you make people feel, which actually reminds me of this other user who was talking about how losing weight made them more attractive, but not in the way you'd think.
Oh, right. That's right. It wasn't like suddenly they were, getting all these compliments.
Exactly.
Right.
It was something way more subtle.
Yes. It was the absence of...
They said it was more about people being less disinterested in talking to them.
Exactly.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like that little subtle shift made all the difference.
That's such a good point because it shows, like, attractiveness isn't always about, like, the grand gestures, the overt attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's those small things. Like, how do people engage with you?
Right.
The fact that they're not avoiding you.
Yes.
The fact that they make eye contact. The fact that they listen when you speak.
It's about being seen.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about this powerful halo effect thing.
Yeah.
Pretty privilege and all that. the what makes, like, a personality really shine.
Right.
But what about, like, those even more subtle signs of attractiveness that people were mentioning?
Yeah. Yes.
The ones that make you wonder, hold on, were they flirting with me?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Or am I just, like, making stuff up in my head?
Decoding those cues, that's tricky because you're relying on interpreting other people's behavior.
Yeah, totally.
And that's always going to be subjective.
Like, are they checking me out or are they looking at, like, the wall behind me?
100%.
Right.
Yes, but even with that in mind, there were definitely some common themes.
Okay, what were they?
Strangers doing double takes.
Did I just see what I thought I saw?
Exactly.
Right.
People getting flustered or, like, overly complimentary, like laughing too hard at a joke that wasn't even that funny.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, we have the grandma test.
Oh, the grandma test, of course, because grandmas just think their grandkids are the cutest.
Always.
Yeah.
It's like this unconditional, pure adoration. It transcends any standard of beauty, like a built-in, you're amazing filter.
That's hilarious. But you're right, context is key.
Oh, for sure.
Like, a double take could just be you have spinach in your teeth.
Right, exactly.
Not everyone who's being nice to you is, like, secretly in love with you.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, you're right.
Important not to overanalyze, right?
Right.
Project your own stuff.
Totally.
But on a more serious note,
Okay.
the Reddit thread also revealed this other side of attractiveness,
Yeah.
the potential downsides.
Yeah.
And this was particularly true for women.
Okay, that's an important point. I'm glad we're going there. What did they say?
A lot of women were talking about, like, the downside of getting all this, like, unwanted attention.
Yeah.
People telling their stories of being followed, the inappropriate comments.
Right.
Even, like, feeling unsafe, when their attractiveness was seen as some kind of invitation.
It's awful that something that's, like, supposed to be positive
Right.
could make people feel that way. Did anybody have any advice on
Yeah.
what to do?
Yeah, for sure. Setting boundaries came up a lot.
Okay.
Whether it's just like a firm no,
Right.
or being really direct about, whatever behavior is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just remembering, like, you don't owe anyone any attention, even if they mean it as a compliment.
It's a good reminder that, everyone deserves to feel safe. They deserve to feel respected, no matter, like, how attractive somebody might find them.
100%.
And that sometimes being, like, attractive and confident means like sticking up for yourself, being like,
Right.
no, this is my boundary.
For sure. And just, like, even being aware of those little cues, right?
Yeah.
Like, is somebody's attention making you feel, like, uncomfortable? Are they, like, in your space too much?
Mm-hmm.
Trust your gut. if it feels off, it probably is.
Totally. It's about finding that balance between, being open
Right.
and also, like, protecting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been, wow, such an interesting conversation.
It's pretty fascinating.
We've gone from, like, decoding these little weird signs to, like, the deeper stuff. Like,
the psychology of it all.
psychology to, like, what happens in society. It's so...
The sociology.
Yeah, the sociology, exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can, like, unpack from, like, just a random Reddit thread.
I know, and it's, like, beyond the stories and everything, it's just, like, it makes you think about attractiveness, like, as a whole different thing.
Totally.
It's not just what you see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about confidence and kindness and how you make people feel.
And how you can, like, you can work on that. You can cultivate that, regardless of, like, how you measure up against whatever,
Totally. So if you're listening, next time you're like, I wonder if they're flirting with me. Just remember, like...
Remember this.
The real deal.
It's about so much more.
Goes way deeper than just, like, what's on the surface.
Right.
It's about the stuff that draws people in.
Yeah, kindness, humor,
Yeah.
that genuine, like, I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
It makes people feel seen.
Totally.
It's about being that person who just, like, lights up the room with their energy, their personality.
Love it.
The kind of person who just makes you feel good by being themselves.
Beautifully said. So as you're, out there navigating the world and all its confusing signals, just remember everything we talked about today.
Exactly.
Embrace that genuine connection.
Yes.
Figure out what makes you attractive, and trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
Until next time, happy deep diving, everybody.